Welcome back. You're still watching Nude on Nigeria on Viewer Television. It's time for our State of the Nation segment. A lot has happened in the past week. We have a lineup of deliberations on everything that happened in the nation in the past week. And without further ado, let's begin with the presidential's address to Nigeria. And we have Adekunle Oyegoke here with us in the studio so we can banter and deliberate on these matters. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having me once again.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure having you. Thank you for responding to our request to come on this morning. So without further ado, we have a lot to talk about this morning. So let's begin with the president's address. The president addressed the nation on matters that we know are boiling in the nation. He came out and addressed the nation. We're going to point out some things that we need to take note of. But first of all, let's just get how you feel, what your response is, your take on the speech that the president gave.
To be very honest with you, I was very happy that the president could, address the nation at the time he did. It shows that we have a president who is ready to communicate with us.
With us, yeah.
It shows that we have a president who is informed of what is going on in the country. Because in the past we've had, situations whereby the president is just silent, things are going on, nobody cares.
We're actually begging President Jonathan to talk to us.
Yes, even though
a lot of times.
We are even talking about President Goodluck Jonathan was still better than the past administration.
He will say he's not a wire, so.
So I was actually very happy to know that our president will begin to talk to us.
Yeah.
Because this is a sign that this is not just going to be one of, it is going to be one of many that we would have. That means if there's an issue, the president is aware, he knows the pains of the people, the pains of the masses, he will come out and see how he can address it.
Yeah.
So before we even start thinking of, is he even going to keep to the promise? The first important thing is, do you even feel what the masses feel? And that is what the president has shown us in his speech, and that's what makes me happy.
And you said something important. You said it means he's being informed.
Yes.
Because there are times we just feel like, we see papers of President Buhari, he's reading newspaper, he says Channels is his best TV station. Are you hearing what they are saying at all? But this means that if he would come out now, if President Tinubu will come out and talk to us, even if he doesn't, the fact that he read those things, it means he's actually getting some information.
True.
Yeah.
He's aware.
He's aware. It means that he's aware. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at the things that he stated. 1 point.
Okay.
He said, what I can offer in the immediate is to reduce the burden our current economic situation has imposed on all of us.
Okay.
Most especially our businesses, the working class, and the most vulnerable among us.
Okay.
With emphasis on the us. Like I said, does it mean that he's a part of, he's feeling what we're feeling?
Now, he's the president. When you're talking about, for instance, maybe he lacks food, maybe the ordinary Nigerian, cannot take transport to work because it's expensive, or they cannot drive their cars, he might not feel those things because he's the president.
Yeah.
And he must move. But when he says us, he's trying to identify with us that I am still a part of you. I am a Nigerian,
Yeah.
So whatever it is you're going through, it is all of us that are going through it. I might be in the seats, whereby I might not feel anything, but one way or the other, I might have relatives, I might have, people out there who are going through what you're going through, which makes it to affect me. So that's why he's telling you us. And I noticed that he used that word us a lot in his speech.
Yeah, I actually like that you're saying, because let me bring this down to it means, like you said, he identifies we are all in this together, right? And we're hoping that he translates to everything that he does and actions, and because talk is cheap.
True.
We must say that.
But that's where it starts from.
Yes, that's where. But yes, it's cheap. Let us just emphasize that anybody can actually talk. But it starts from that. At least you are talking. You've not been getting the talk before, and now, but you are talking now.
Exactly.
We are talking.
He step in the right direction.
Yeah. So he mentioned, he said something about greens. he has ordered immediate release of grains. Let's point that one first.
Okay.
This is the statement we had a guest here 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago who said those palliatives were being released immediately. The president is still ordering immediately. What do you make of that?
Now, when they say the president has ordered immediately, we all know that there's a process to things. Things don't just fly. Things must be documented. Things must go through one table to another. Yes, the president has ordered that release immediately. There should be a procedure for release. And this, before these things are done, those procedures must be followed. It just means that whoever is in charge to sign, whoever needs to do anything, please do whatever you need to do immediately it gets to you. Don't waste time. Don't do anything. And then for these grains to be released, there will be beneficiaries. There must be time to compile those beneficiaries. There must be time to vet those beneficiaries. There must be time to do a whole lot of things. So I believe that immediately, yes, it might be immediately. He has said immediately, but it might not translate into now.
So that's where I have a problem, because when you listen to this, I think it is good that we are specific a lot of times, because sometimes, especially because of bureaucracy, immediately can be what's the word again? Immediately can be immediately can be relative. That's the word I'm looking for. Immediately can be relative. It can be that in the past this used to take 1 year, but now it's immediately is happening in 4 months. We tried. But if we had seen things like timeline, I have ordered from the 13th of August, grains begin to leave the silos to the hands of farmers, blah, 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 then we know that that is why I see some of these things as being too vague. Don't you think?
Okay. Now, in the president's case, I'm not trying to make a case for the president because I'm not the spokesperson of the president.
No, it's okay to make a case. He's our president, so we can make a case.
But I'm still not a spokesperson.
Let's you can be the devil's advocate.
But now, if the president cannot come out and tell you, I'm giving this timeline, because I see that speech as a speech that came impromptu. There's a problem. I need to solve this problem.
There has been a problem.
I'm just saying, there's a problem at hand. I need to solve this problem. People need to know what I have done or what I am doing to solve the problem on ground. So let me come out and tell them. Now, if he gives you a timeline and he says, oh, I have ordered, with immediate effect from 13th of June, grains, and that. And then at the end of the day, 13th of June comes, for some reasons.
What reasons?
It could be anything. It could be logistics.
No.
It could be a staff. It could be political enemies or political allies.
We cannot give our government an excuse.
That's why I said I'm not making excuses.
You know what it is to be the president? You give your word. Your word is ultimate.
But things can still happen.
They will move.
Sometimes in the position of, until you sit down on the seat of the president, you might not know the heat there.
But you know that you wield a lot of power.
You wield a lot of power. But even as much as I say release with immediate effect, probably the grain reserve is in Gwagwalada, is in Sokoto, is in this thing. I will not go there.
That is why you have advisors and the rest to let you know that, okay, this is where it is beforehand.
And that's
that
why
you come out. I know we will drag this argument and we may not get to anywhere.
Yes.
Right? So,
and that's what I'm saying. If the president has said with immediate effect, what it means is whoever is wherever that is supposed to approve anything,
get to work.
Gets to your table, get to work.
Yes. Why?
And make sure it is done.
Okay.
So shorten the process as much as you can, but release these things. So if the process was 1 year and it's 4 months, hasn't that done something? Or if the process is usually 3 months and is achieved in 2 weeks, something has been done. Okay. The most important thing is that the pronouncement is out.
Now, the issue of these grains, and he also made mention of fertilizer also, it's looking at agriculture. We all know that it was there before. The previous administration came with the fact that everybody should go back to farming, and a lot of people did. Now, the aspect of insecurity came through that hindered or that created the agricultural food crisis that we are witnessing now, aside the case of some of the things that have been increased, some of the prices have increased rather. the major aspect that I think needs to be considered is insecurity. Unless that's tackled, there's no way you give me grain or fertilizer and say go back to farm, go back to the farm, or go and steal. The bandits, the herdsmen are there with guns, still asking for taxes. Boko Haram are still there. It doesn't make sense to me. So still indirectly, it still hasn't tackled that factor. Don't you think so?
Okay, now there's something I want us to all understand. That as Mr. President, he has not even been on that side. I don't think he's up to 3 months. It's not 3 months yet. He cannot change situations that have been bad. It is easy to tear down, but very difficult to build. A situation that has been there for over 12 years, he can't just come in a day and make it change overnight.
Let me counter you on that. Excuse me.
Wait,
if I will button,
I'm still going somewhere.
If I will button, excuse me. Why I will counter you on that is because you did not decide to be president 14th of February before the elections 15th of February. Right? You don't just come up and say so. You should have been, even if you are not going to win, even if you are not going to be president, you work on things. That is what strategic planning is about. Insurgency has been with us for a long time.
At the same time, we know that things are planned. And when things are planned, you must follow a plan. What do I mean? I come in now. It's not everything I'll tell the people. We're already seeing some changes. I hope it's not the same thing that every other IG will come and say I've withdrawn, policemen from escort duties, from VIPs and all that. Now, this present IG has said, I am withdrawing all of them, about 40,000 of them. What do we want to do? We want to retrain them and tackle insecurity, which is the job they are supposed to be doing. But they will not tell you every of their plan.
Yeah.
And these things take time. It's a strategy. You can't wipe out everything in a day. You begin to work. What Nigerians love to hear is, the police has gone to, so forest. They have killed 15 bandits. They have killed 1,000 bandits. They have killed, But sometimes those things, I don't know. Sometimes I feel that sometimes those things are exaggerated.
They are exaggerated, but at least that balances that news also, where you hear bandits have invaded a village and killed about 500.
Exactly. These are things that give hope.
You understand? If there are situations where bandits are also, or newsmen reports the fact that bandits also invade communities and kill, also let us also have that news where the police, those who are supposed to protect us, also invade the bandits den, and at least let's say even if it's 2. So that at least
we know the number is reducing. We know the number is reducing.
Let's know what's happening. Don't you think that should be considered also? Now that is aside, we've not had serious case of attack by bandits and all that, but we know it's happening seriously.
Yeah.
It's just that somehow things usually happen that moves away the mind or the focus of the media, but we know it's still happening. That doesn't mean that people are not dying on a daily basis.
True.
But for him to come and start talking about the things that are really on the periphery, I don't think that sits well. But to you, if you think that sits well, and then maybe you have an angle that maybe I don't know, that you might enlighten me more.
I also feel that security is a sensitive matter, a very sensitive thing, that you don't come out and disclose your plans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because everybody is listening, everybody is watching. And then it will take a period of time. Like I said, these present service chiefs, they just nominated them. You might think you have your plan before you came in, but by the time you sit on the seat and they start bringing security reports, you now begin to see reality that, I thought it was like this. Oh my God, how do I solve this?
We always know how to coach better.
Yes, from outside until you get there into the field. That's when you see that it's difficult. Then you now begin to make tough decisions. Okay, no, let's do this way. Even things that you felt that, normally, ordinarily, when I get in there, I'm going to make sure the military does this and put it in the media. By the time you now get there, you now see that, oh, I can actually not do that. Because they will tell you this is the reason why it is beyond. Because if you do that, you damage more things than. So
Actually,
let's just,
some bit of intelligence is kept from the public.
So let's just give it time. Yeah. I feel that by the time it's there in the next 6 months and we're not seeing changes, then we can begin to say,
agitate.
Okay, what is going on? By now.
Okay. So let's move on to other things because we have a lot to talk about. Let's move, if we can dwell on, because sorry, one of the reasons why we are talking about immediate is because we're actually looking at how we can get out of the hardship in Nigeria immediately. And we're now, why I picked that part of agriculture is because the rains, they will soon come and pass. So what are we looking at? Why? Where's the time? Where's the time for all of that? Okay, so let's move on to, or you want to comment on that?
Yes, I quickly wanted to say something on that. I remember in his speech, he said something that he wanted us to have an all year.
All year, yes.
You know?
We don't. I think that happens only in Jos.
It can still happen.
That's the point.
So let's
Can it happen immediately? Because we're looking at immediate ways to get out of this.
It cannot happen immediately.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We're looking for how to get out of this immediately.
It cannot happen immediately.
So okay, so he made mention of some things he wanted that the government was going to do to help nano, businesses and enterprises, and also we can't read through all of that, but let me just point. He said out of the sum, I think that's about 125 billion naira. He said out of the sum we will spend 50 billion on conditional grant to 1 million nano businesses between now and March 2024. Okay. Our target is to give 50,000 each to 1,300 nano business owners in each of the 774 local governments across the country between now and March 2024. Does this help to alleviate hardship of Nigerians?
Now, before we even start talking, what's the definition of nano?
What is the definition of nano?
Who are the people who belong to this class of businesses?
The lady who sells tomato in the front of my house.
In front of your house. The lady who probably sells granuts, for instance. Small, very minute businesses. And the truth is 50,000 will go a long way for such business. You might think it won't. But give the woman selling tomato, give her 10,000 naira to add to her business. She will pray for you from now till the next 6 months. When you buy tomato, she will add like 2 or 3 on top for you. Because she feels that you have made an impact in her life. So 50,000 might look like a lot to such businesses. And it is achievable. After all, the past administration was doing market women, giving them 5,000. And we have somebody who is saying, who recognizes the fact that 5,000 naira cannot
read right now.
50,000 naira for nano businesses, and he's telling you this is the amount that's been marked for it.
But we're looking at just 1,300.
How does he want to give the whole Nigeria money?
That's our expectation.
No.
That's
another angle is creating such an idea and of course implementing it. But the major factor, as we know in Nigeria, which is the hardest part, is making sure that everybody gets that. We all know that the previous government said they are giving certain amounts to Nigerians, and all through when they started that program till now, I've not met one single person who said he has
beneficiary of this.
Yes, but still they are saying they will do that. It's a good idea. It's a welcome one, but the implementation, do you still think that possibility of achieving that? I'm not looking at 100% safe. Let's stop at 50%. Achieving that 50% is possible with the Tinubus administration.
It is very possible, but it will all depend on who is heading the team, who is leading the implementation team. That's what will determine it, and we don't know who is going to lead it yet. But to the best of our knowledge, the president has said this should be done. So let's see who he's going to put in charge.
Ensure that.
Yes. So, but for now, I feel that it is even achievable 100%. It all depends on who is the leader of the team.
Okay, so I think what's his name? The Judge Adekunle. What's his name? He's actually
Secretary to Government.
Secretary. Yes, his primary assignment is into implementation of policies and the rest. I'm afraid to say that I feel he has been silent for a couple of weeks right now. He's been silent for some reason I don't know. Is he not being given things to do? Is he a figurehead? Femi Gbajabiamila has been the one I know, but we should see him because a lot of policies have been rolling out. We should see him, or is he working behind the scenes, making sure that policies are implemented? Because, like you're saying, it's our major issue, implementation. I will still say to that we're agitating for wages, salary, minimum wage to be increased. Some states have not domesticated 30,000 till today
because they don't have money to pay it.
They don't have money to pay it.
According to them.
Thank you. According to them. And then we will say that we're waiting. We're hoping that we don't hear any state that will come and say last month civil servants or pensioners did not receive pay, because we know the amount that was distributed between the 3 tiers of government. We hope that they will be paid and they will begin to domesticate these things, because if we now go higher, we have put those states in problem.
True.
Yes, because it will also affect inflation. Yes, since they can't pay
30,000.
Yeah, because one thing that will happen when they increase, if minimum wage is increased, as the government has promised us to in this speech, is that we know it will also affect inflation.
Should I even tell you the truth?
Tell me the truth.
It's not even only going to affect inflation. It's going to affect even the people. That's why I keep saying that the people who are clamoring for 200,000, they are not reasonable.
It's not. Yes. They are just. Realistic. I think they are just being angry.
Even private businesses will fold up, and then unemployment would increase.
Why would you agitate for? That was why I felt like NLC and the TUC, they were just being. I felt like they were joking. When you come out, this is serious. You come out and say they should give you 200,000.
Again, there's that factor that they're asking for 200. That's for those that work. There are those that don't work. Now, if they increase the salary to 200, a lot of things will increase.
Yeah.
Now, imagine someone who is not working automatically on a normal day. Things just increased for him without him getting anything from the 200, and still him to buy something will now be hard.
And we know that private sector will drag before they will.
Let me tell you the truth. Private sector will fire a lot of people.
That's what will
and
happen.
then one person will begin to do the job of 15 people.
If efficiency has dropped, productivity has dropped, that is what happens.
Because how much profit are you making that you're going to be paying 200,000 as minimum wage? So you're telling me that the minimum wage, if I have a cleaner in my office, the cleaner should earn 200,000. So how much will a manager now earn? And then the CEO will be earning maybe 10 million.
Then we've not looked at professors and all those people in those other.
Now professors are not even earning well.
Yeah, they are not. It's
their
one
salary
of their,
is about 400 and something thousand.
Yeah, you can imagine. Except you are behind the senator, then you are all right. All right. So let's move on. There's a lot to talk about, but as it affects us is what it affects us directly. So now let's talk about transportation. He said part of our program is to roll out buses across the states and local governments for mass transit at a much more affordable rate. We have made provision to invest 100 billion between now and March 2024 to acquire 3,000 units of 20-seater CNG fueled buses.
Which is another thing that this administration is doing, if they see it through, would help. CNG, compressed natural gas. Now, if you have buses running on, there will be a lot of, there will be no pressure on this petrol. Everybody begins to go on CNG, which is affordable in the sense that it lasts longer.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about the price, because price of gas is still high. But
at
least you know the combustion and everything is. So it will go a long way in helping. He also approved buses for SUGs.
Yeah. In
universities for students. So if he rolls out this, at the end of the day, petrol marketers will have no choice than to bring down, because they'll be begging people to come and buy fuel. Don't you go through filling stations, you pass some filling, and you see that there's fuel, but there's nobody in the filling station. It's looking like a ghost.
Now. A lot of people have packed. A lot of people have packed up their cars. All right, so let's move away from the president's speech. We're very happy he came out and addressed the nation. Now, major news that's been happening throughout this week again. Ministerial screening.
Yes.
Our president has released.
But the previous one went through scrutiny also.
Yes, he just released, I think, 18 more process. So, yeah, he released 18 more. 20 something, I think 28 previously. The truth is, the ministerial screening, I won't lie to you, I stopped watching it because I felt it was a joke. Personally. And then the people on the list, there were some people I didn't expect to be on that list.
At all. People like...
I don't want to mention names. But I expected that we have a whole lot of young people, new blood, that are ready and willing to work.
They should have made the ministerial.
We have intelligent people. When I saw the list, I referred to President Olusegun Obasanjo. I said, yes, this is one thing that he did during his time that I'm still expecting someone else to do, to replicate.
Yeah.
Before you see former people in government, in President Olusegun Obasanjo's ministerial list or something, it took a long time. You can even count maybe 2 people.
Because they just came from here like, who is Okonjo?
Who is Okonjo?
Who is
Charles Soludo?
Who is
this?
Who are these people? And they were bright brains.
Performing well. And everybody kept asking, so we have this kind of people in this country. So we have such people, we have such talents. So I expected that he would have fished for those talents. Gone for those talents. But still, we don't know the criteria he used in picking some of them. Even though during the ministerial screening, somebody said that he passed with only 2 credits and he decided to bring what he wanted to bring for the screening. And we had
that particular guy. So the spokesperson for Senate came out and defended him that he had gone for he had a diploma. You can have a diploma from your A-levels before you go and you do direct entry. That will make up for you not having 5 credits before you make it into the higher institution. But his own statement was that he had other school leaving certificates.
So, contradictory statements.
Exactly.
Then we also have somebody who said he won his common entrance.
He won it. It was awarded him. Oh, wow.
He won it, yes.
Wow.
From primary 3, he won his common entrance.
Wow. Wow.
In order to defend.
There's a lot to expect.
So there's a lot. So I'm just disappointed. But the person who won the common entrance is not the ministerial nominee.
He's a senator.
He's a senator.
Oh wow!
Who won the ministerial?
Also, he was defending because that is what happened a lot. It seemed like the senators were out to make a case for the nominees. I think they just picked at some intelligent people and really wanted to hear them speak because Wale Edom had to talk it. Yes, I was privileged to watch his own screening. But it seemed like the Edu lady. Yes. I think she's the head of women or something in the APC. Or so she's the women leader of APC and she's a doctor. So they really grilled those ones and I felt the people that they didn't have anything, they knew they didn't have anything to offer, were not grilled. They were not asked. And I'm sorry.
And they told some of them bow and go.
Yes, but Akpabio just kept telling them, this is not what we're supposed to do. If you have any petition, we take it to the right bodies. So why were they sent here to screen? Because it felt like you all came here to make a case. You say you don't want to call the names of some people.
No, I don't want to.
Okay, I'm not going to call the names of people so that I will align with you on that. But I think people from notable PDP members that were noted, I don't think that was right. I can be quoted wrong anyway. Why do I say so? Because there's conflict of interest amongst the parties.
Okay.
You guys are still in court and everything. So where do you stand? That is 1. 2, ministerial position is an appointment, and you belong to the other party. It means you cannot be an opposition. So what's going to happen?
No, it doesn't mean you cannot be an opposition.
I don't think you are appointed. You oppose, and he fires you.
He fires you.
Yeah.
But at least you've opposed.
Will you oppose? The people there, will they oppose?
Now, let me now tell you something. That is where integrity comes in. That is why a lot of people talk about foreign countries. If I am a minister in a foreign country and your policies or what you're asking me to do, I cannot do it. I oppose, I resign. Everybody is aware that this is the reason why I resigned. But in Nigeria, most times we shop for our pockets. For our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, and all that. So we might not be able to achieve that. But the truth is, I just feel you can still work with other parties. Make it all inclusive. Because you're not an island. You might feel your party is the party that has all, knows all, and can give you all the policies, but it doesn't work that way.
So for me, I think I just have the objection because it is an appointment. Right?
Yes, I can fire you, but if I'm firing you, it will also bounce back on me.
Because it's an appointed position. That is why I share those sentiments.
Okay.
Yeah, because you are under appointment. You were not elected, right? You were appointed. So you actually cannot rule against anything.
Of the policies.
You cannot oppose any policies, right? Yeah. All right. On that note, I think we should take a breather, and we'll be right back with more on State of the Nation. To stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching New on Nigeria on Viewer TV. We still have Adekunle Oyegoke. We're here bantering and deliberating on matters arising in the nation. Wednesday the what? Wednesday was what date? Wednesday the 2nd.
Wednesday was 2nd.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, yes, talking about what happened Wednesday. Now, the NLC initially started with the whole case of we're going to protest nationwide and all that. And usually, NLC usually beat drums that they're coming to protest, but don't. But this time around, they did. And it just happened within a few hours, or let me say at the end of the day, they called off the protest, the nationwide protest. And everywhere, in most states, came out for joining the mother body for the protest. Now, do you think the demands of NLC is a far cry?
Well, in the first place, NLC was not even supposed to go on that protest because I see it as a sham protest.
Why?
Okay.
And the reason is that the integrity of NLC is questionable in the first place. A labor union is not supposed to endorse any party. There's been a time that the NLC have endorsed a party. Identified
you had liberty to mention the party.
Well, we all know it's something that is out there. If you go on the internet, except it has been deleted, and probably that might be the reason why I might not mention, because if it has been deleted, and then I'll start having lawsuits and that, okay, where did you see it and where did you not see it? But for people who saw it, we knew that there was an endorsement somewhere, directly or indirectly. There was an endorsement. Now, you're calling for a strike that court has already told you not to go for. You went on the strike or on the protests, and then you went on this protest while you're still discussing on minimum wage. If you were in a committee that they've said review minimum wage, and you feel, oh, things are not going as they should be, then you should come back to Nigerians and tell Nigerians, oh, things are not going as should be. Okay, seek audience with the presidency. Things are not going as you have said it should be. But while still sitting down, deliberating on minimum wage, you are now calling for a strike. Who are you trying to impress?
The union's leaders came out one time to say they had to walk away from a dialogue session that was going on because the committee did not show up. So it means that they are having a dialogue is in question. Okay,
so let me ask you a question. Do you walk away on people who are not even...
No, so that is why. That statement actually sounded, because they didn't come in and you said they stormed out of the building, because that was how newsmen carried the news. So I don't know if that was out of a briefing they got or something, but that was how it read. The statement read that organized labor stormed out of meeting because of lack of representation from the committee they were supposed to dialogue with.
Now, let's say for instance, you set up a committee of 12 people. You say maybe the team lead or the leader of that committee is so person. So because you don't have the leader of the committee, and probably the leader of the committee, I'm just assuming that that's what would have happened, and then the leader of the committee now says, oh, delegate somebody else that you can stand in for me, I'm going somewhere. And then everybody comes, sits down, Does that mean that the committee cannot hold their meetings?
If that's what happened. That's
if that is what happened. But I keep asking the question: do you walk away on people who are not there?
Well, that's question.
That's the very important question I should be asking. If you're saying there's no representation, that means nobody was there. So how do you walk away?
But again, there is also an angle to it. If let's take for instance, there is a committee that has been set off 10, and all of a sudden only 2 show up.
Yeah.
So far so good, nobody showed up.
Yeah, because we're not up to a quorum.
2 out of how many?
2 out of 10. It's not a quorum, so we can't have that dialogue.
How many? Okay, let's say this is a committee. It's from 2 sides, right? So you have a committee of 10. 2 shows up from here. How many showed up from here?
No, I mean 10 is supposed to show up from, let's say 10 from this angle, 10 from this angle.
Okay.
And 10 showed up here, but 2 showed up here. So
okay,
far nobody
that's
showed up.
10. That's 20.
Yeah, what's the 20? Yes.
And you have 12 people.
It's lawful that
what number?
A quorum is how many? A quorum is in percentage. A quorum is 7%, I guess. No, a quorum is more than 7%. A quorum is not up to half of it, but yes, a quorum is up to half, and we know that in meeting, if you have representation of a quorum, then quota, so that is 40%.
40%.
My mathematics is not giving right now. it's not giving. It's still not up to. It's not up to. Yes, 2 is 20%. Like. So it's still not up to.
It's still not feasible.
Yeah, but
and again, there is also, they are looking at proper channel of having this dialogue, you understand? Because it just happened that I think an emergency committee was just set up just for this. Now they needed a proper presidential, I forgot the term they used, that they need so that the president will set it up rather than just having an emergency set up on that. In as much as you said that the protest was a sham, still there is that need for Nigerians to feel that yes, the labor is backing us. Don't you think that also is
to feel, right?
Yes.
Not actually.
So just a feeling.
Just to give us a feeling.
So you feel like the labor is not backing us?
Honestly, I don't feel so. Because if you're even looking at these labor unions, is it everybody that is a civil servant?
Well.
Is it everybody? You say you want to go on strike, you close the banks, you close the markets, you close everything. How will the masses you're fighting for, how will they eat? How will they eat? How will they move around? Do you know how much the same government you are squeezing and saying increase minimum wage, do this, do that? That day you have shut down. Do you know how much has been lost?
Yeah.
And where do you expect the government to get the money from? To pay you or increase the minimum wage?
Okay, so you advise it's better we stay through the hardship rather than witnessing or going through 2 days of hunger. Is that what you think?
You see, everybody's stamina is different. There are some people who are already hungry. Do you know, like people who they can't afford a meal a day. It's a struggle. Then you now add 2 days to eat. What happens to them?
So to you,
and most of this
been any protest. We should just continue moving like
cows. The thing is, it's not that there shouldn't have been any protests. It is not yet time for a protest. And then the president coming out before them to address the nation and tell you, this is what I'm doing. Oh, civil servant, we will review your minimum wage, of which there's already a committee set. Oh, this is what we are doing. Give you a brief. What else do you want?
But you personally, are you not tired of the committee that has always been set up and nothing is done?
Committees will always be set up. Whether we like it or not, because the president cannot attend to everything. It was just like a time that one of the labor unions, I don't want to mention
which one again.
One of the labor unions went on strike, and they were saying they must see the president before they call off their strike. And they went on strike for almost a year, or more than a year.
I think that is insignificant.
Not that they are there
that they
insignificant.
were out for a year and the president really had no.
I'm sure if your children were in the university, you would have felt the impact too.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
to do with the masses, a lot of
where they why as in do it's their place or their agitations unfounded that the president was able to shove off their demands of wanting to see him for that long.
No.
Where did that get us?
Not that they were so insignificant.
Where did that get us?
There's something we need to understand. We have one man at the helm of affairs. You have lots of people. We're talking about over 200 million people.
I'm sorry to say.
I'm going somewhere.
This president,
no, just wait.
This president would have seen that union.
Yes, he would have seen that union. The way he saw NLC,
he would have seen that union. Yes.
But I can tell you that by the time you keep entertaining that, it becomes a president that has no value. People value what they don't see. When you come out and talk, they hold your words and they know that they can hold. The reason why this president now is respected and they called off the strike is because they feel that, oh, he has seen us. If they come out for protest again, after he has done probably the things he's supposed to do, and they request for him again, he sees them, it becomes a normal thing. That means anytime you want to see the president, just go on.
So let's take inference. Everything depends on the value that you have put on yourself and your organization. Let's take inference from the president of the United States.
Okay.
He has not become an insignificant president. We know that has been part of their democratic.
But is it everybody that sees him?
It's not everybody that sees him. But unions and bodies that they feel is needful and essential to see him, he grants them audience.
But before he grants them audience, it must have been that whosoever he has put in charge cannot solve. But I put people in charge to talk with you, speak on my behalf, and then you say until you see me, you will not even listen to them.
Now, let's look at the factor also that the federal government usually bring permutations or technicalities from the legal aspect just to shove away any protest by any action group in Nigeria. Don't you think like the federal government are really taming or in a way not allowing the poor breathe? in that context, you understand, where if one is supposed to come out and state out his problem or protest, the government will come again with his legal. Don't you think that will suppress any other form of cry by the masses?
Now, there's a difference between protesting and going on strike. When you're protesting, that doesn't mean that people are not working. People come out, some will still be working.
Yeah.
The country is still running. People can still go and buy their foods and eat. But when you have to make it mandatory that you will shut down the economy, then there's a problem. You're not even thinking about the Nigerians that you're fighting for.
But the protest doesn't shut down the economy.
Oh.
It may a protest because roads may be blocked and all of that, some people may not be able to get to work, but it doesn't totally shut down the economy.
But if you can find your way,
that's the thing. If you can find your way, roads will be blocked and all of that.
But we've seen NLC protests that shut down everything. And that is what I feel that the purpose of this particular protest was for. Even though it did not achieve it completely.
Yeah.
But that is what it was for. I can tell you with boldness that, okay, my car had issues. I was on bike within just my locality. And the bike man, I was speaking with him. He's an Hausa man, and we were speaking Hausa because I understand Hausa. And he was telling me that, what are these people even doing? That they don't want them to die?
Oh.
That they want to shut down the market. So how are they going to eat? How are they going to make their daily bread? The 1 naira, 2 naira they're making, how will they make it? So the poor that you're fighting for, you are fighting for them and you're still killing them, and yet you don't want to lose. Because those 2 days now that you have protested, that you have shut down the economy, you still expect the government to pay you for those 2 days.
Yeah.
After all, if we're fighting a fight, there must be sacrifices on all ends. I must be able to sacrifice and say, okay, since I'm shutting down the economy, the 2 days don't pay me the salary. The one with don't pay me the salary. I know that yes, this is my contribution to the struggle. But you want to be paid for the day you didn't work. And at the same time, the poor you are fighting for did not eat. How do you remedy them for that day?
But again, if usually the strike is the last option, don't you think if there is no strike, the whole situation will continue to deter to
so
the point where even the poor man that you're talking about him suffering might suffer more if that action is not taken?
You know, if there was one thing I liked about the president's speech, he said, "I know and I feel your pain." He mentioned it.
Are you sure he feels?
No.
He might know.
He
but
know.
not feel.
Even if, like I said, he might not feel it directly, but there might be people around him that feel it. He might know people that feel it, that he cannot even help. Probably he's helpless about, because probably he wants to protect his name or his integrity, so that they don't say he's using his office to, usurp or do anything. He has said it. I feel your pain. It's a temporary pain. Most times we Nigerians, we just want the miracle, but we don't want the sacrifice. We don't want to pay the price. Some of these countries we are looking at that are developed, they've paid the price. An ordinary Nigerian, you think about yourself first.
You pay the price with a lot of striking and protesting. You paid a lot of striking. Anyway, the strike has been suspended, and we know that what's his name, Osifo, the chairman for the Trade Union Congress, came out and said there are meetings with the president, and he came out and we know he was on TV and he was smiling and all of that. We hope that it was for the right reasons.
And
right?
do you know that? And do you know the funny thing again? Do you know federal government took Labour to court?
After that, that's why I'm confused. Like,
and now NLC is threatening that you must take. If you know you've done the right thing, why are you threatening?
Exactly. So that
was the question.
This thing you don't know what's going on.
I think the federal government always bringing court to this matter. It's them suppressing the poor. That was the question.
Imagine if the NLC that says they are fighting for the poor, that is saying the federal government should respect the rule of law, is not respecting the rule of law, and you expect the government to respect the rule of law. Lead by example.
All right, we're running out of time, but lastly, before we go, let's get your reactions on our neighboring Niger Republic and the coup d'etat. What's your and especially let's look at it from the angle that the Ecowas is trying to play, since our president is the chair of the Ecowas. What do you think of all of that?
Well, I do not support coup in any form, because I believe that once you support a coup, you've lost your voice. You might feel that whatever is happening at the moment for your benefit, for your good, but in the long run, you lost your voice, because you no longer have deliberations. Imagine that we were in that era that Niger Republic is going into now. How will you go on strike? Who will even answer you? Who would even listen to you? So I do not support that, and I see that Ecowas is living up to its responsibilities, and the president is putting Nigeria back as the giant of Africa or West Africa, because he's making statements, he's making bold statements. He has already suspended, sanctioned that electricity should not be supplied to Niger Republic, which they are also protesting against the president right now. But all those things, they need to see beyond that. They need to see beyond whatever is happening now. There are democratical ways of doing things, of solving issues. But what they have right now that they are happy with, very soon they'll start complaining. Okay,
so let's talk about briefly, because we know that when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged as the chair of the Ecowas, one of his major points, and he kept hammering on us, was how coup had to end. This is the end of coup in West Africa, because we see that from 2020 it's been coming on different countries, and like we were saying before we came into the studio, it's as if the junta, in Nigeria, they just felt like, we are just talking. Why didn't they feel the impact of what the Ecowas was saying? Do they have a backing? Do they feel powerful that they cannot or they shouldn't listen?
Or is it that they think the chair is not capable?
Yeah, exactly.
I always use the example of, there are people who push you And then when you're getting to a slope that they're supposed to hold you so that you don't, run and fall, they just remove their hands and let you roll and crash so that they will laugh. That's what is going on. The case of Ukraine and Russia is a typical example. We had people telling Ukraine, oh, you can do this. We had people telling, you had people supporting on both sides. But who is feeling the pain?
Yeah.
Who is feeling the pain?
So indirectly, you are saying Nigeria is Ukraine, Nigeria is Russia?
Sure.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Let's clarify that.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because there are questions of, is there an invasion in Nigeria?
What I'm saying is, if the Nigerian people feel they have a backing, they should watch it. Very soon, that thing that seems like backing, it is either that backing is because they are gaining something from them, or they are going to gain something from them and then pull back. And they will be left with the reins to deal with.
So you feel like their excitement is unfounded?
Their excitement is just for a short period of time.
Another factor to look at, possibly, for a coup to happen, there are some series of events or series of actions that happened that led to that led, or the junta who happened to take over. Now, is it possible that we're not looking at it from their angle, that there might be something that could possibly go wrong, that possibly this coup saved? Don't you think that could be the case? It's the nation now, or everywhere, saying they should release the president, reinstate him back. What if this is someone that has been with him all through? What if he knows something that we're not aware of? You understand? He's trying to help the Nigerians.
No matter what he knows, his process and procedure is wrong. Now, it's just like the hardship everybody is feeling in Nigeria. God forbid, such thing happens in Nigeria. A lot of people will be happy, right? Oh,
yeah.
Yes, they'll be happy because they feel that, whoever is taking over will alleviate the pain. Meanwhile, you don't even know who is taking over. This person did not give you a manifesto that you can hold into. This person did not tell you. You cannot even hold this person responsible for anything, because if this person says go, it is go, no questioning. Sit, it is sit. No constitution. I am the all.
We don't even know if they have promised another to hand over back to a civilian.
Now,
don't know
even if the person who has if the person who has planned the coup, let's even assume that the person has sincerity of purpose. That probably the person is doing it, to cause changes and all.
Yeah, and bring in another.
But does the person know whether the person behind him is also looking to get that's it?
Just like it has happened in Nigeria.
A couple of times.
Now you have sincerity of purpose. Okay, I'm going to organize an election. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Just for you to discover that probably your own chief of staff or maybe your CSO or something is coming and planning for you. Before you know, he has removed you. He has taken over. He will give excuse. Stay for a while.
Because that's what's happening in places like Myanmar right now.
Yes.
This guy he has extended another 6 months now before, and we don't know how long that will keep.
And most
coming.
times, such people, they end up saying, okay, fine, no wahala, we'll organize an election. Then they become civilians.
Yeah,
they come out and then come back in.
Yeah, but they are but they still have the mentality of the lastly before we end on this conversation. The people seem to be happy and excited about what's happening now, and most of them are saying that they've been a strong French hold on them. They've just they've discovered that we could have potential. Why are we still here? Is it because of the French? They still have all their military state and everything present in Niger. So do you think that is one of the things, and is that assumption, is it founded? Should they agitate for the freedom from the French? Because it feels like they're fighting for another independence right now.
Yes, every country should be completely and totally independent.
So?
True. But there are ways to go about it. The person there might not have the political will to take decisions that would help the country attain or achieve those things. Then look for other means. look for other means. Go to Ecowas, go to bodies that you know that they matter and can make decisions. For instance, if peradventure they had gone to Ecowas sees reason why that president should be out of that place. Sanctions are placed. He will be forced to leave. Because he knows that at the end of the day, you can't govern dead people. Yeah. We are not getting electricity. We are not getting probably food supply. We are not getting international trade. Nothing is coming in. Nothing is going out. He would be forced to leave. And then somebody else comes, takes over and see how, things can be done properly. So I feel that the whole thing is just messy, right?
Yeah. So we're looking forward to how this will all unfold in the coming weeks. Seeing that Ecowas has sent a delegation there. Let's see how that unfolds. Even though the junta, what's his name there, Mohammed Kadir, also Chinese. So I can't get.
Let me even give you one.
Just feels like
most people that love this kind of coup right now. Most people that love. If you go and watch very people agitating there are people who have never been under any military rule.
So the young then?
The young. It will be mostly the young. It's just like in Nigeria. If you say...
Yeah, if you ask our fathers
they will tell you
they don't want military. They flogged us on the road. We don't want to be...
Even though there are sometimes that you think, it's even better, at least all this indiscipline, But at the same time, the military is to protect. And that's why I love what the Chief of Defense Staff said in Nigeria, that the military is loyal to the country, to protect the country. Democracy is here to stay. Okay. So I wish we all have that mentality.
I wish we all do.
I don't want to go back there.
You don't want to go back there. You saw it. You saw it. So we can go on and on and on. There's always a lot to talk about. We hope to have you again on New Dawn when matters are always arising. All right, that's all we can take on this segment. Just stay with us. We have more coming for you on New Dawn Nigeria.
The game of polo, it's my life. Polo is good. So I just started and I'm still learning the basics. But I hope to be a pro in this game, and God being by my side, I know everything will be fine. I started 4 months ago. I started stick and ball 4 months ago, though I attended the riding course in Pakistan. I've learned the riding basics, but the game of polo 4 months ago, I started stick and ball. Every day we mount on the horse, we pray. And once we come down, as you can see, I was about ending and I fell from the horse. It's a normal thing. In horse riding, if you don't fall, you've not started yet. So you need to train. You can see I'm sweating, I'm eating banana, it's part of it. You must train, you must eat well, and you must learn properly. I've chosen polo to be my own sport, and I've always looked up to people like General Kazil Fire, General MSA Aliu, Colonel Waibelu, and General Laka. A few of them, I've looked up to these people. These are great polo players, and they've always encouraged me to play the game of polo.
Well, hope your time was well spent on watching the New Dawn for today. Remember, we are always here at your service. Well, this is how far we can go on this episode. My name is Phillips Livin. Do have a lovely day.
Yeah, and my name is Chinon Supam. As always exciting to be here with you on New Dawn Nigeria. We hope to come your way again next week. Until then, have a wonderful weekend and a beautiful week ahead. Bye.